This video is about RAOB's unique custom view functions. Many of the functions and features shown in this video require access to optional program modules. However, the custom view display screen is available to all RAOB programs. Over the years, RAOB has produced a great variety of unique displays, but with this unique custom view screen, RAOB allows you to create your own personal display screen. Up to 9 of them. And each screen can have up to 20 panels of information. For starters, let's look at a custom view using just 2 panels. They both display the same sounding profile, but the left one displays the entire sounding profile, while the other is separately scaled to better examine the sounding's boundary layer. Here is another example custom view display using the maximum 20 panels of information. Here, a time height dataset is loaded, where each of the 20 panels can be individually scaled, positioned, and configured. And they can be set into motion to automatically scan the time height diagrams, while the respective image panels display the sequencing soundings. So now let's see how this is done. We'll start from the main sounding display screen. You can get to the custom view in 4 ways. First, you can select the display menu and then the custom view option, which also shows the second way by using the Control-Q keyboard access method. The other 2 methods are automated. You can have RAOB automatically open to the custom view by first accessing the Options menu, then Program Options, where you can set the default display mode to the custom view option. The fourth method allows even more automation. Just access the batch and timer functions, and then under the processing options, select the custom view diagram option. So starting again from the main sounding diagram, let's use the first method by selecting the displays menu and then the custom view option. Since the custom view requires at least 1 panel, RAOB automatically loads a sounding panel by default during initialization. Before adding more panels, let's see how to arrange each panel. You do this by first selecting the Arrange menu option. First, notice that the Arrange menu text changes from Arrange to View. And secondly, notice our panel now has 2 handles. The upper left handle lets us move the panel to any location on the screen. And the lower right handle lets us resize the panel to any shape desired. And the fonts are automatically scaled to the new diagram size. Once you're done moving and sizing the panel, you exit the arranging mode by selecting the View menu option. And now you can choose to save or undo the changes with these menu options, but we'll save them for now. Okay, so now let's plot a sounding. We'll first select the File menu, and now we see a slightly different set of opening options. Here we actually see 2 different data modes with the custom view display, the sounding mode and the cross-section mode. And unlike all other RAOB displays which predetermine what types of data can be displayed, this custom view can display any type of data mode. So now we have 2 data options where we can choose to display either single sounding images or choose to display cross-section and time height images. For starters, we'll just select the Open Sounding option and load a sample sounding file. Okay, here we see our plotted sounding diagram. And just like with the full screen sounding diagram, you can right-click over the diagram to display the diagram options panels. Similarly, you can right-click over the left margin of the diagram to display the Analysis toolbar to perform analysis functions. And if you forget these options, then just click on the Options menu and then Panel Options, where it informs you of a new type of pop-up menu, which is unique to the custom view screen. In this unique pop-up menu is accessed simply by left-clicking on any panel on the Custom View display. For example, we'll left-click on the sounding diagram and up pops this new menu. And here we see all possible options. It's important to note that the full screen option closes the Custom View screen and then takes you to the full screen sounding diagram display. All other options are common menu options relating to the diagram being displayed. Now for the next step, we'll rearrange the sounding panel to make room for more panels. To add more panels, we'll select the Panels menu and add another sounding diagram, then 2 nomograms, the fire danger and storm category, and then add 2 displays, the time display and the parameter list. Then click OK. And here we see those 5 panel additions, which will now rearrange by selecting the Arrange menu. And notice this unique parameter list display option, which allows you to separately print those key indices that are normally only available within the sounding diagram image. Now let's modify the second sounding panel into an emigram and rescale the diagram to view the boundary layer. And remember that we can independently configure the emigram with its own parameter listing. Okay, now that we know the basics of the Custom View display, let's get to the fun part. We'll now switch to the widescreen view and load our previously saved Custom View containing 14 display panels. And by selecting the panel selector, we can see all 14 of the displayed panels. And here again is the 14 panel Custom View display. We have 2 sounding images, one skew T and one emigram, 2 sounding grams, which are independently configured with separate analyses, a hodograph, a mountain wave display, plus 7 various nomograms and a time display. And remember that each of the 14 panels displays information from the same sounding file. With this Custom View, you can customize your display to meet your needs or a client's needs. You can even apply a black background using the Program Options menu. Okay, now let's look at the File menu options. And as with the standard sounding display screen, these menu options also permit the downloading of sounding data and use of the batch and timer functions. And now look just below, where we have the cross-section menu options. And this is where things really get interesting, because with the Custom View screen, you can display both sounding images and cross-section images. Before moving on to cross-sections displays, let's look at the display's menu options. The sounding diagram option takes you directly to the main sounding screen, and the cross-section diagram option takes you directly to that screen. But it's the first option, the Custom Views option, that becomes very useful when you become a Custom View power user. This panel lets you store up to 9 different Custom View panel configurations for instant recall. The default column tells RAOB which view to display upon opening the program. while the current column lets you switch to any view at any time. As you can see, we are currently displaying the second view, the sounding panels example. Now let's switch to the time height one panel example view. And now we get a program message saying that our new view uses a cross-section panel, and the currently loaded sounding file is not able to create a cross-section or time height diagram. So to make the transition from sounding mode to cross-section mode, we'll call up the File menu and load our previously created time height diagram. It's from a BuffKit time series file covering an 84-hour forecast period. Now let's eliminate the wind plots and then call up the toolbar and apply an analysis. So let's see what happens when we add other panels. First, we'll go to the Panels menu and add a sounding diagram. First, note that the sounding diagram initially displays the first sounding of the time height diagram. Next, note that when we move the mouse over the time height diagram, a new pop-up menu appears at the upper left corner of the diagram. The Data button displays a text listing of all soundings contained in the time height diagram. The Menu button displays the standard pop-up menu that appears when you left-click the mouse over any diagram. And the Loop button provides the speed and sequence options. And these control buttons activate the looping sequence across the time height diagram like this. And now things get more interesting. As the scroll bar moves across the time height diagram, each individual sounding is automatically plotted and displayed on the adjacent sounding panel. Now let's go all out and load a previously created custom view which contains the maximum 20 panels. And when we start the looping sequence, we can see how all panels simultaneously update with respect to the scroll bar moving along the time height diagrams. Notice that there are two time height and two sounding diagrams, where each is independently configured for different display purposes. Before closing, note that the display also contains an image that is only available in this custom view mode. It is the supermediogram. It not only provides a great variety of display modes, but it also has a one-of-a-kind data projection function which extrapolates parameters into the future. Please see the separate video about the supermediogram for more information. That completes the custom view video. Thank you for watching.